Welcome back to the OChakDe show. This is Silicon Valley's first business podcast for teens hosted by a teen. I'm Sachin Sayal. I'm a 17-year-old award-winning entrepreneur and podcaster from the Bay Area, and I interview remarkable and influential entrepreneurs, executives, and investors from all walks of life so we can learn from their stories and level up ourselves. Today, our returning special guest for a short episode is marksuster from Upfront Ventures. Mark, you've been on the show, so here's a tough question for you. What does OChakDe mean?
Oh, listen, you can't put me on
I'm
the spot.
Please go for it.
Please go for it. Go for it certainly describes your character. So I think I got a text earlier today saying, cancel all your meetings. I will be in LA in your offices later today. And when I didn't answer it, because I was actually in meetings, then he called my assistant and said to my assistant, you need to block something off on his calendar because I'm coming.
I mean, it worked out.
Yeah. You make your own opportunities in life.
Yeah. I mean, all entrepreneurs do that, right? Like you go from idea to business plan to execution to getting people like you to fund it.
You certainly have to take risks.
Yeah.
You certainly have to put yourself out there. As I was saying to you before, and I was discussing with your family here, it's what I call polite persistence. There's a lot of people who are persistent. They just keep bugging you, but they're not very nice about it. So eventually you put up a screen.
Yes.
There's a lot. The world is filled with people who are nice, who go away after the first time they hear no.
Yeah.
But no doesn't always mean no. And I don't mean, of course, in sexual relations, because no always means no. But what I mean is, like, I don't know. So someone said to me, an entrepreneur, he was going out to raise money. And he met with a VC, and the VC said to him, I'll get in touch with you. We're going to think about the deal. So a week passes, and the entrepreneur says to me, I guess he's not interested. He didn't write me back. And I said, that might be true. But it also might be true that maybe he had a company that was IPOing that week. Maybe he had a company that he had problems that he was solving. Maybe his kid was in town. Maybe his daughter got married. I don't know. Like, a lot of things get people busy with other things. Great entrepreneurs know how to politely keep getting on your radar screen, and they persist, and persistence pays off.
That's what I try doing. Hopefully
I noticed.
Actually, every one of my podcast guests, I've said this so many times on like every podcast I do, it's either a cold call or a cold email. I've got a Naveen Jain, multi-billionaire, Tim Draper, billionaire, and like, Nirav Tolia, next door.
Sure.
Founder. Yeah, I got him as well through a cold call. I'm like, is this a Shark Tank judge? He's like, yeah. He's like, how'd you get my number?
I think, well, here's a lesson. If you think about how to best get access to people, I actually have a better suggestion for you than cold call, which is a reference. Referenceability is the number one tip I could give to anyone who works in any kind of business. If it's sales, marketing, you name it. If you get referred by somebody and that person respects that person, they're way more likely to take a meeting with you. And when they take a meeting with you, they're way more likely to be leaning in. So when I talk to people about sales, I always say, people, you can email, you can send all your materials. They may or may not meet you. Mm-hmm. But if you can find someone who knows them and that they respect and get introduced, they will much more likely take a meeting. So now that you know me, the number one thing you've never asked me is, who am I going to get you in front of to get someone else on your show?
I was going to ask you that when I got home.
You should.
No, seriously.
Because I had a good experience, and because I had a good experience on your show, I'm more likely to ask someone else to do it.
When we were talking about Jason, I was like, wow, he wants me to do a year of A's now? I kind of wanted the intro instantly.
No, you got to deliver it for me first. But I met Harry Stebbings. I think he was 19. He had just started his show.
Great guy.
Well, I want to tell you why I agreed to meet him. I agreed to meet him because I got a call from Beezer Clarkson. And Beezer, I've known for years. She was one of my investors. She had met him, and she said, he's a great guy. He's new. He's just getting into the industry. I really think you should do his podcast. And I thought, well, if Beezer asked me to do it, he must be a good guy. I'll do it. And of course, Harry then became this amazing investor.
Was the in-person one was the second one, right?
Say again?
The in-person one you did with Harry, was that your second one?
Oh, I think it was third or fourth. Yeah.
Because I remember when you
Because I met him 10 years ago.
On X, you posted ours and then you tagged him.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Oh, because I told him to look out for you.
Yeah. And now we're competition.
For him.
No, I'm joking. He's a good guy. I actually got in contact. I didn't get in contact with him. That guy's interviewed Rishi Sunak. That guy's interviewed almost every guy I tried interviewing that I haven't gotten yet. Harry Styles is in it.
But you will.
Yeah.
You need more experience.
Yeah.
You need more maturity. You
Yeah.
need to get through school and prove that you can do that. He's a few years older than you.
Yeah, he is. I think he's like 20 something.
He's probably late 20s.
Late 20s, yeah.
That's my
but
guess.
he started when he was like my age.
Yeah.
So many people have started when they're my age too. So
Youth is an advantage.
Yeah.
And youth is an advantage because most people your age are too intimidated by somebody as, someone my age, right?
yeah.
I was going to say someone as charming and successful as me. I meant my age.
I read out so that letter you wrote back to me. I read it out to my class.
Yeah.
I still read it every day. It's about like how the number one thing to do just to be successful is simply taking action. And then also most people are too scared of getting a no. Like when I reach out to you, people are like, dude, you're reaching out to marksuster. You might want to be careful. Like he might. What if you want to get investments from him and then he doesn't like you? I'm like, dude, I'm doing it politely. Polite persistence.
But so I would just say you need more experience, learn more about life, make some mistakes, do some good things, but you take action, and action really matters.
Yeah. Well, as you wrap up here, these are like my two favorite questions because I asked it to all my guests. I've already asked you, so you already remember this one, but what's your best advice for teens if people haven't watched the first episode?
Well, my best advice for teens is take your time to live and enjoy your life. I think it's cliche, and you're probably hearing this from everybody you know, including your family, but social media isn't the real world. Mobile phones aren't the real world. Being cool and having money isn't the real world. I always tell people experience life, and I just want to give you a real life story about this, okay? From my own life, so I don't just, so I practice what I preach. When I was 25 years old, the internet was starting.
Yeah.
And I was a software programmer.
Yes.
So everyone I knew was leaving to go to software startups, and this is approximately 1994. And I had a chance to go join startups like everyone else. And I chose instead to move to Europe.
Okay.
And it was not the internet ground zero. And there's a reason I did. I thought at 25, before I'm married, before I have kids, I want to go live and experience the world in a way that I probably won't when I'm 35 or 45 because it becomes harder to do. I had no regrets. I had so many life experiences of just taking that chance. I got to live and work in France, Italy, Spain, the UK. I got to live and work in Japan. I got to spend time in India, working in India, which was magnificent for me. None of these things would have been possible if I didn't take action and bet on my own personal life. So there's so many times where you do what you think you should be doing because you see your peer group on social media and you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. Just live your life, experience your life. Don't be afraid of making mistakes, and get off your screens.
Why do you think most people don't take that first step? Like, why do they just follow the crowd and go with the flow?
Probably it's human nature. So that's probably
and you always also want to go to the easiest thing too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, taking action puts yourself out there. And if you put yourself out there, people can tell you no. And it can be a blow to your ego when somebody tells you no. And you don't realize that somebody telling you no isn't a problem with you. And it's not even necessarily a problem with them. Maybe just they weren't the right person to say yes to you right now.
Yeah.
The more you put yourself out there, the more you get told no, as long as, again, you're polite and ask why. Yeah. Can you help me learn for the next time why this wasn't a good fit for you? And over time, all those no's become learning experiences, adversity to overcome.
Yeah.
And turn the next one into a yes.
Got it. Well, last question of the day before you head off to your meetings. What was your just favorite part of the interview and just me coming here?
Favorite part of the interview? I'd say favorite part of the interviews before you came. Because I admire the fact that you reached out, that you pushed, that you didn't accept no text message back immediately, that you called my assistant, that you got my assistant to say, I'm going to block out time on your calendar. I love that you show up with energy and enthusiasm in everything you do. You walked around and shook everybody in the office's hand. You took all their names, and then you remembered their names, right?
Yeah.
So I always say to people, this is one of my favorite quotes, and maybe I'll leave you with this.
Please do, please do.
It's a sales quote.
Okay.
From a sales leader of 30 years ago, like
Okay.
really old school.
Okay.
He says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So I want to break it down for you. People don't care how much you know. So most people in a situation like this, they come in and they want to tell you all sorts of things, and they want to show you how smart they are.
Yeah.
And this applies to selling, it applies to building relationships. People come in and they want to show you how smart they are. But if they know how much you care, if they really believe you're authentic as a human being, they're way more likely to want to do business with you. And I think that's something that comes across from you. You come across as hugely enthusiastic, but also authentic, and authenticity matters.
I really appreciate that coming from Mr. SUSTER.
Good to spend time with you
Awesome
today.
to spend time with you guys. A little bit of the backstory. I'm here to pick up my brother who's at UCLA, so you got the UCLA hat. Go Bruins. Great interview. Guys, hit the subscribe button. Mark Schuster, go to upfront.com.
Upfront.com.
Upfront.com. We're in
Or
Santa
go
Monica.
to Twitter, follow me at msuster.
Yep.
And you'll either get good advice or
Yeah.
you'll get some politically charged things in the next year and get triggered.
And if you guys want to call Mark Schuster, his cell is. Thank you so much, guys.